ever felt like you're just faking it? Like any minute, someone's going to pull back the curtain and reveal you're not as competent as they think you are. That little voice saying, one day they'll find out I'm a fraud.
That really unsettling feeling, right? Where even with all your achievements, you kind of believe your success isn't really deserved and that, people will eventually see you as a phony.
Yeah.
It actually has a name. Imposter syndrome, or sometimes called the imposter phenomenon.
Right.
It's often described as this internal experience of intellectual phoniness. And it can feel, incredibly isolating.
And what's really, truly eye-opening here is just how common this is. I mean, the numbers are kind of staggering.
They really are.
Estimates suggest, somewhere between 70 to 82% of us could feel this way at some point?
Exactly. It's huge. And it's not just, everyday folks. It hits some of the most accomplished people out there.
That's the wild part.
Indeed. Think about Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks.
Yeah.
He was really open about it. He said something like, very few people get into the seat and believe today that they are now qualified to be the CEO.
Wow. From him.
Yeah. It really says something that someone at that level feels that doubt.
Or like Sheryl Sandberg, right?
Yeah.
Facebook COO. In her book, Lean In, she wrote about tests. Every time I took a test, I was sure that it had gone badly. And even when she did well, she felt like she'd just fooled everyone yet again.
Yeah, the jig would be up.
Exactly. And Natalie Portman, Academy Award winner, Harvard grad.
Right.
She said at her Harvard speech, she felt like there had been some mistake. Like she wasn't smart enough and always had to prove she wasn't just a dumb actress.
It's powerful stuff. It really shows how deep this runs.
And wasn't there someone else? Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks, too, yeah. He admitted feeling like, how did I get here? When are they going to discover I'm a fraud?
It's almost universal then.
And what's really fascinating, maybe even paradoxical, is that the people who often struggle most with imposter syndrome, they're usually the brightest, the most capable people in their jobs, in their fields.
Right.
Yeah. Often high achievers who just, for whatever reason, can't seem to internalize their own success.
Okay, so that's our mission today then. We're going to do a real deep dive into this.
Let's do it.
We'll unpack what imposter syndrome really is, try to figure out where these feelings, the often really debilitating feelings, actually come from.
Right.
And most importantly, give you some concrete, actionable strategies, things you can actually use to manage it, quiet down that inner critic, and really start to own your success.
Sounds good.
So let's first map out what this feels like inside, the internal landscape.
Okay.
If this resonates with you listening, you'll probably recognize some of these signs. It's like this constant fortress of self-doubt your mind builds. You might find yourself always doubting your competence, your skills, engaging in that relentless negative self-talk.
The inner critic, yeah.
Or getting really upset, like disproportionately upset, when you don't meet some super challenging goal you set.
Or the flip side, right? Overachieving.
Exactly. Overachieving, over-preparing. Just trying to keep that voice quiet.
Yeah, and that can lead to some surprising behaviors, like maybe subconsciously sabotaging your own hard work.
How so?
Well, maybe not asking for a promotion you deserve, or downplaying your role in a successful project, or attributing your success to anything but yourself.
Right, like, oh, it was just luck, or the timing was good, or I just fooled them.
Exactly, things like that. And it's really crucial to understand, while these feelings are super intense, really uncomfortable, imposter phenomenon isn't technically a diagnosable mental illness in the main manual.
Okay, that's important.
Right. Psychologists Suzanne Imes and Pauline Rose-Clance, they first identified it back in the 70s. They called it a cognitive distortion.
A cognitive distortion, like a faulty thought pattern.
Yeah, think of it like your brain is playing tricks on you, like a mental optical illusion where you see yourself as less capable, less deserving than you actually are.
I see.
And this distortion, this feeling, it often leads people to suffer in silence because of that deep, deep fear of being found out as a phony.
And it's not just work or school.
No, definitely not.
These feelings can pop up, in your relationships, maybe in parenting.
Totally. Parenting's a big one. Or even hobbies. You start something new, you're learning, and boom, that feeling hits.
Wow. It really can be everywhere. So, okay, let's pull back the curtain a bit more.
Yeah.
Why? Why do these feelings take root, especially, like you said, in high-achieving people who are objectively good at what they do?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? A lot of it can often be traced back to early family dynamics.
Okay.
Like how?
Well, one common pattern we see, maybe you grew up in a family where a sibling was sort of subtly, or maybe not so subtly, designated as the intelligent one.
And you, perhaps, were told you're the sensitive one, or the socially adept one, the charming one.
So even if you get good grades later.
Exactly. Despite your actual intellectual accomplishments later in life, you might secretly still doubt your intellect. You wonder if your success is just down to charm or, social skills, like you psyched out your professors instead of genuinely earning those grades.
That makes so much sense. I've heard about another dynamic, too, where maybe the family sends the message that the child is just superior, like perfect in every way.
Oh, yes. That's another key one. The child who's told they can do anything with effortless ease.
Right. The pressure.
Huge pressure, because inevitably that child faces real challenges later. Life is challenging, and when they struggle, which is normal,
They feel like a failure.
precisely,
Yeah.
they internalize that struggle as this profound failure to meet that impossible standard of perfection with ease. And the silent conclusion often becomes, wow, I must actually be dumb, even when all the evidence points the other way.
It's like our brains get wired really early on based on these experiences. I was reading up for this, and it reminded me of that concept, schema.
Yes, schemas. Absolutely relevant here.
Our brains sort of generalized models for how we see things, right, based on past experiences. And they dictate how we respond, often unconsciously.
Exactly. They're like mental blueprints.
Like, I can even see it in my own life, unrelated to intellect maybe, but early experiences with, say, social rejection, feeling like an outsider. It can create what they call a defectiveness schema.
That feeling of being inherently flawed.
Yeah. And then you spend your life trying to cover it up, maybe by overachieving, trying to prove you're not defective. It's all unconscious.
That's a perfect example of how these patterns get baked in. And this internal blueprint, the schema, it can then lead to behaviors like, intellectual inauthenticity, meaning maybe you hold back your best ideas because you're afraid they're not good enough. Or worse, you adopt opinions you don't really hold just to fit in or get approval.
Oof, that sounds painful.
It is. It creates this internal disconnect.
Yeah.
Because even when you do succeed, maybe using charm or perceptiveness instead of your core ideas, you're left feeling like it wasn't the real you who did it.
Which just feeds the imposter feeling.
Right back into it. Because the validation you get doesn't feel truly earned. It reinforces that sense of being a fraud.
So connecting these dots, our brains get trained unconsciously to respond this way. These ingrained patterns of self-doubt. But hang on, this isn't just an internal battle we fight alone, is it?
Not at all.
It feels like society itself, the environment we're in, can sometimes fuel these feelings too.
Absolutely. That's a critical piece. It's vital to understand that imposter syndrome isn't purely an internal psychological quirk. Systemic issues play a huge role, especially for marginalized groups.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Well, think about the lack of role models, for instance. If you don't see many people who look like you or share your background succeeding in your field.
It's harder to picture yourself there.
Exactly. It can make you feel like maybe you don't quite belong, or maybe you'll never really be good enough. If you consistently see, say, mostly men in leadership roles, it can subtly reinforce this idea that maybe leadership isn't for someone like you, even if you're incredibly capable.
And it's not just about who you see, right? It's also about what you hear or experience directly.
Oh, definitely. Overt biases, racist comments, sexist comments, things like, oh, women aren't good leaders, they're too emotional.
Ugh.
Or the discrimination some Black women face, for example, when their natural hair is called unprofessional.
Those aren't small things. They chip away at you.
Profoundly. They directly attack your sense of belonging, your competence. These aren't just microaggressions. They're real systemic barriers.
What about support systems, like at work?
Also huge. The lack of a supportive manager, for example. Someone who gives you frequent, constructive feedback. Who creates opportunities for you to actually show what you can do.
Without that.
Without that consistent recognition, that validation for your actual work, it's incredibly easy for self-doubt to creep in, for those imposter feelings to really take hold.
And things like unfair pay, that must play a role.
Unfair reward systems, definitely. We still see significant pay gaps. You mentioned the stat earlier. In 2022, women earning about 82% of what men earned on average.
Yeah.
These aren't just abstract numbers, they're real experiences that send a message. And they can make feeling self-doubt, feeling like you don't belong, seem like a pretty understandable, almost normal response to an unfair reality.
That makes sense. It reframes it slightly. It's not just in your head.
Exactly. It's often a complex interplay between internal patterns and external realities.
Which brings up another point.
Yeah.
Why does this often seem to go hand in hand with things like depression and anxiety?
That's a really important connection when you're constantly struggling with these impossibly high standards you set for yourself.
Right, the perfectionism.
Yeah. Combine that with the constant self-criticism, the fear of being exposed. It creates this enormous internal pressure cooker.
Sounds exhausting.
It is, and that chronic stress, that constant self-judgment, it can significantly worsen feelings of anxiety, feelings of despair. It can trap you in a cycle that feels really hard to break out of.
Okay. Wow. We've really unpacked a lot here about where these feelings come from, both inside us and from the outside world.
Yeah, it's complex.
So now, the crucial question. How do we start dismantling these invisible walls?
Yeah.
How do we challenge that inner critic that, what was it, Ariana Huffington called it, the obnoxious roommate inside our heads?
Yeah. Yes, that's a great description. Well, the really profound shift starts not just hearing that voice, but recognizing it for what it is. It's often a deeply ingrained pattern from your past, right? A script you learned without realizing it.
Okay.
So the very first step is simply to notice. Start noticing when that voice pipes up, being demeaning, critical, discrediting your efforts.
It's just awareness.
Just awareness to start. Then, here's the insight. You actually have a choice. You can choose whether you're going to believe it or not.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, for sure. But ask yourself this. Would I ever let anyone else talk to me like that? Probably not, right?
No way.
So why let that inner voice do it? Then you actively look for facts. Real-world evidence. Challenge those big generalizing thoughts like, I never achieve anything. Is that really true? Find counterexamples.
So actively push back with facts. Treat it like an overly critical friend you need to reality check.
Exactly. You're separating yourself from the thought, not taking it as undeniable truth, and once you start observing it, noticing the pattern.
You can start rewriting the script.
Precisely. Become consciously aware of that old internal narrative and actively, deliberately rewrite it. So instead of thinking, oh God, wait till they find out, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, that old chestnut.
Right. You can consciously tell yourself, okay, everyone who starts something new feels a bit off base at first. It's normal. I might not know all the answers right now, but I'm smart enough to figure them out. Or, hey, I'm smart enough to ask for help when I need it.
That feels more empowering already.
Or if you walk into a room and feel intimidated, instead of shrinking, you shift your thought to, wow, okay, everyone here seems brilliant. I'm actually going to learn a lot in this environment. It reframes the situation from a threat to an opportunity.
That's a really powerful shift. And I know mindfulness comes up a lot in this context too. How does that fit in with rewriting the script?
Mindfulness is incredibly helpful here. The basic idea is just paying attention to the present moment on purpose and without judgment.
Okay.
It trains you to take a step back from your thoughts, to simply observe them. Psychologists call this cognitive diffusion.
Cognitive diffusion, like unfusing from your thoughts.
Exactly. Think of it like watching clouds drift across the sky. Your thoughts are the clouds. You notice them, but you don't get swept away by them. You see them as thoughts, not necessarily as reality.
Ah, I see.
Our minds are kind of wired for survival, right? Always jumping to past regrets or future worries. Mindfulness helps break that habit. It grounds you in the present, reminding you that thoughts, especially those critical imposter thoughts, are not always accurate reflections of reality.
Okay, so managing the internal dialogue is key. But what about actually believing in your successes? How do you start internalizing achievements and, actually accepting praise when you get it? That's so hard for people with imposter syndrome.
It really is. And the shift here isn't just about accepting praise, it's more fundamental. It's about starting to claim your inherent worth, independent of any single achievement.
Okay, how?
Well, a really practical first step is to make a conscious effort to remind yourself of your achievements. Like actually list them out sometimes.
Okay.
Celebrate them when they happen, even small ones. And crucially, keep them kind of top of mind for when those doubts inevitably kick in. Maybe make it a daily habit. Identify at least one little win.
Like write it down, sticky note.
Yeah. Sticky notes, a note on your phone, whatever works. Just acknowledge it. And remember, the goal isn't just to get external validation. The most powerful validation comes from yourself.
That's a big shift. And I think you mentioned a specific exercise for this, the own your success thing.
Yes, it's really helpful. Try this. Make a list of some of your significant achievements, big or small.
Got it.
Then, in a second column next to each one, write down any external factors that might have played a part. Maybe someone gave you a leg up, maybe the timing was lucky. Acknowledge those.
Okay, be realistic about help or luck.
Right. But then, and this is the crucial part, in a third column, you actively credit your own contribution. Your actions, your initiative, your hard work, the skills you used, the confidence you earned.
So you balance the external with the internal.
Exactly. You start to see that, yes, luck and timing and health are part of everyone's story, not just yours. And you also see, clearly, the role you played through your own agency. It helps internalize it.
That sounds really useful. What about compliments? When someone actually says, great job, and your first instinct is to brush it off.
Yeah, that automatic deflection. Practice just pausing. Take a breath. Let the positive words actually sink in for a second and then simply say thank you.
Just thank you.
Just thank you. It feels awkward at first, but it helps break that pattern of diminishing your achievements. It allows you to actually start internalizing that positive feedback bit by bit.
And rewarding yourself.
Definitely. Make a habit of treating yourself when you finish tasks, even small ones. It creates this little mental link, a connection between your effort or your success and something positive.
Okay.
And you can even reward yourself just for the effort, even if the outcome wasn't perfect. It reinforces that trying is valuable too.
And keeping evidence, like a brag file.
Absolutely. Keep a physical folder or a digital one. Collect those things. High test scores, positive emails from colleagues or bosses, letters of recommendation, awards.
Tangible proof.
Tangible proof. When that inner voice starts whispering that you're a fraud, you can literally look at the evidence that says otherwise. It's incredibly grounding.
Okay, another thing. It's so easy to look at others and think, wow, they've got it all figured out, while feeling like a mess yourself. How do we tackle that comparison trap?
That's a huge part of imposter syndrome. Inflating others' abilities while minimizing our own. A critical step here is simply to break the silence.
Talk about it.
Talk about it. Share how you're feeling with someone you trust. A mentor, a close friend, maybe a therapist.
Why does that help?
It does two things, mainly. One, it reduces that awful sense of isolation, realizing you're not the only one. Two, it gives you an external perspective. Hearing how others actually see you often as competent, valuable, can be a powerful antidote to your own distorted self-view.
That makes sense. But maybe choose wisely who you share with.
Oh, good point. Yeah, probably not best to confide in your direct competitor at work. That might just fuel more comparison. Choose someone supportive.
Right. And what about that assumption that everyone else just sails through life effortlessly?
We need to actively challenge that. Look for the backstories. Assume that people you admire didn't just get there easily.
Yeah.
Ask questions if you can. Read biographies. Listen to interviews. Dig a little deeper. You'll almost always find stories of struggle, setbacks, moments of doubt, and yes, luck or external factors playing a role in their success too, just like in yours. It normalizes the messy reality of achievement.
Okay, so everyone struggles. That helps put things in perspective. But what about asking for help? That can feel like admitting defeat, right? Like proof you're an imposter.
It feels that way, but it's actually the opposite. Embracing humility, asking for help when you need it, that's a sign of profound strength, not weakness. Absolutely. It shows you understand your limits, you know how to leverage resources effectively. It actually deepens relationships, builds trust. It's a sign of competence because it shows you're focused on getting the job done right, not just on pretending you know everything.
So practice asking.
Yeah, even small things. Practice relying on others. Ask one or two clarifying questions each day to a colleague or a mentor. Just build that muscle.
And that drive for perfection. The feeling that anything less than flawless is failure.
We have to practice imperfection, seriously, and patience with ourselves. Internalize the idea that good enough is often good enough.
Easier said than done.
It takes practice. Try reframing challenges. Instead of seeing them as these huge hurdles you have to clear perfectly, see them as opportunities or experiments. The goal is learning, not instant perfection.
Any practical ways to practice being imperfect?
Take up a new hobby, something you're genuinely bad at initially. Knitting, pottery, learning an instrument. Get comfortable being a novice. Get comfortable with making mistakes, learning through trial and error. It reinforces that liberating truth. Everyone is a work in progress. I will always have room to grow.
That's a great idea. Okay, finally, that classic advice, sometimes it feels a bit controversial. Fake it till you make it. What's the real deep dive there? Is it just about putting on a brave face?
It's more nuanced than just pretending. Instead of seeing winging it or stepping into something you don't feel 100% ready for as proof you're inept,
Yeah.
try viewing it as developing a crucial skill, the skill of navigating uncertainty, of learning on the fly.
Right.
The core insight here is don't wait until you feel confident to start taking action. Confidence often comes after you take the risk, not before.
So courage first, confidence follows.
Exactly. Change your behavior first. Take the leap. Put yourself out there, even with the doubt, and allow your confidence to build organically as you gather new experiences, new evidence of your capability. It ties right into developing that growth mindset, right? Seeing challenges as chances to learn and grow, not as tests of some fixed inherent ability.
Wow. Okay. This deep dive has really peeled back the layers on imposter syndrome for you listening. We've looked at how surprisingly common it is, hearing from CEOs and stars. We've dug into the roots, both internal patterns and those external pressures.
Right. The family stuff, the schemas, but also the systemic issues.
And we've armed you with a whole toolkit of practical strategies, rewriting that inner script, really owning your successes, connecting with others.
Yeah, tangible things you can try.
So what's fascinating, as you said, is that this voice, this imposter feeling, it might not ever vanish completely for everyone.
That's often the reality. But the goal isn't necessarily silence. It's learning that that voice is not the ultimate arbiter of reality.
Learning not to believe it automatically.
Exactly. You gain the power to observe it, acknowledge it maybe, but not let it dictate your actions or your sense of self-worth. And that allows you to put the syndrome in its proper place, leading to hopefully more peace of mind, more authentic success, and just more contentment.
So what does this all mean for you, for all of us? If so many incredibly successful people feel this way, just imagine the collective potential. Imagine what we could all achieve if everyone truly owned their competence, celebrated their contributions without that nagging doubt holding them back.
It's a powerful thought. So maybe consider this as we wrap up. What is one small, concrete step you can take this week? Just one thing. Maybe to challenge that inner critic just once. Or to really acknowledge one accomplishment, big or small. Or even just to connect with the present moment for a few breaths when you feel overwhelmed.
One small step.
One small step. That's often how the biggest changes begin.